I think we can all agree that Yamaha sport bike riders are the worst people out there. Let's all just team up and agree that they're the worst. Cue the intro. No, I'm just kidding. It's actually Ducati guys that are the worst. So, 2007 Yamaha R1. This is before the 2009. They went to the cross plane. This is 2 years before that. This specific R1 is lowered, and this is not black. This is called Raven. They came in 3 colors. They came in blue and white. They came in red, and they came in Raven. So any guy that has a black Yamaha R1 will call it Raven. Now do not be alarmed about the seat. What happened was he put the seat back on. It didn't actually fit right, and it fell off, so he put some leather on top of it. We do have another seat coming in, so we'll match that one. So I'm a big fan of Yamahas. Yamahas are great. What's crazy is this bike is 11 years old and still looks amazing. It looks just as aggressive as like a brand new motorcycle. And the average person is gonna have no idea that the thing's over a decade old. Something that you'll notice with the Yamahas is just how wide the front end is because of the way they do their intake runners and stuff like that. You get on other bikes and they're real, much more narrow up here. That's kind of how they are. Not really a good or a bad thing, it's just how they are. So when you look back here, it's got these awesome looking dual pipes that'll keep you and your passenger nice and warm in the wintertime. Now if you look down here, Yamaha put this little cover protector thing, so if you do drop the bike, you don't break off the connection for your clutch cable. So most likely you'll be able to make it home. So the Yamaha R1 is just as comfortable on the street as it is on the track. And what I mean by that is pretty much the opposite. It's completely not comfortable on the street. It makes all the speed limit signs look like the first number of a math equation. 45 times 3, 45 times 4. This bike is incredibly fast. It is absolutely a track bike, but that's why we love it. We like to tame the beast and try to prove to people, no, we can actually ride this thing on the street and not go to jail instantly. Now I know a lot of people say, well, you can't really use all that much power on the street. People do. And your speed limit's 60, I can get there in less than 3 seconds. Or someone can. The R1 is an amazing track bike if you know how to handle it, if you know how to tame the beast. If you think that this is gonna make you a better, faster rider, chances are it won't. What this is gonna do is it's gonna emphasize your limits and the things that you are lacking in your riding abilities. And in many cases, if you don't know how to handle this bike, you'll be slower than the people with much slower bikes. If you know how to handle this thing, you know who I'm talking to. All right, so the bike is awesome, super fun, beautiful looking. If I have not been able to talk you out of buying this bike because it's fast, it will kill you, it will definitely kill you, and it will kill you, then I gotta say, this is the cheapest way to go fast for less than $6,000. There's no question about it. I own a few fast cars. It's expensive to go fast in a car. With a bike, it's very cheap, and this is pretty much what you can get for less than 6,000 bucks. Let's go do the test drive. All right, guys, let's do the words of wisdom before we do the test drive. Proverbs 27:17, iron sharpens iron, so one man sharpens another. We gotta keep each other sharp. Now, I would prefer this bike was not lowered, but some people are short, and that's okay. Sometimes on these bikes, when they're modified a little bit, when you first fire them up, when I first started this, it was great. Just wait till it warms up, give it a little second, it'll be fine. It's been a while since I've been on a Yamaha. It feels comfortable. I wish it was not lowered, but it does feel very good, very nimble. Back when I was doing track days, everyone had an R6. It was a great track bike. Tons of R1s out there. There's a lot of R1s out there just in general. The question is, can I in real life get this thing to sub, there we go, now it's idling fine. Can I in real life get this thing to sub 3 seconds in the 0 to 60? And you know what? I think I can. What's nice about a bike like this is this should do 0 to 60 in first gear. So yeah, there's no shift, taking away a little bit of time. And one of the reasons why the guy, so okay, you're probably wondering, why would someone trade in a Yamaha R1 to buy, and maybe I didn't tell you what he bought, but to buy a 2007 CBR 600? And the reason is, and it's a good reason, all this bike wants to do, is go fast. That's it. Like, you don't want to go the speed limit with a bike like this. It's kind of hard to go the speed limit with a bike like this. Look, I'm going 35 and the bike's just like, come on, man, come on, man, come on. It's like that buddy is just constantly trying to race you, you know? That's what this bike is. All it wants to do is go fast and have fun, like girls do from the 80s. Now, if you were to ask me, hey Sean, what's the best 1000 super sport bike out there? I think it kind of goes, it changes, and I'm not that up to date with it, like by year. You know what I mean? A lot of times what'll happen is if let's say you got the 5 big companies, because BMW is a player, 1000% a player. So you got the big company, 5 big companies making sport bikes. If 3 of them have a different year model change, those are probably better than the 2 that didn't have a new generation of bike. So when you go by year, it's going to change potentially every year, every year model change. And then the next year, when the companies didn't change, the ones that do change, they might be dragging behind. It costs a lot of money to redo an entire bike. Now, a lot of times they'll do like small changes and, oh, we'll change this, do different colors, different body. But then every couple of years, they do a whole new thing and a different motor and different frame and stuff like that. And that's not cheap. I believe, and I might, I don't even know. The same general design is still kind of there till today, but in 09 they did a nice little revamp of the body a little bit. But I mean, you can see an older R1 and it still looks like much like a newer R1. The problem with these bikes is the speed is addicting, and it's very easy to go fast in a straight line. The other problem is it's very deceptive, because you think that you're better than what you are. You're like, look how fast I can go. All you did was grab a little bit of throttle. First of all, that is an aftermarket. That right there is an aftermarket gear selector. Why this bike does not have a gear selector, it blows my mind away. But so it's deceptive that you think you're faster than what you are, because you can just twist the throttle. Look how fast I am. I'm a good rider. I'm a fast guy. And the bike goes straight. The problem is, okay, and that's fine. That's great until a curve in the road comes up. Literally and metaphorically, a curve in the road. And when you're not skilled enough to know what to do to heavy brake, and to throw a knee down and get in the right body position and not be, all these things that you just need to, and read the road and stuff like that, these bikes can be incredibly dangerous. And in many situations, you'd have been much happier, much less dead, riding a much slower bike. I'm gonna adjust that out a little bit. There we go. Ooh, that's nice right there. Alright, so anytime you're trying to launch a 1000, you don't have to rev it up very much. Like, you don't have to rev it up very much at all. There. Alright, now I know that start was slow. I'm aware of that. I was trying to keep the front end down, and honestly, I don't think I gave it full throttle. I know I didn't give it full throttle, actually. Man, that might be like 3.5 seconds. I could do better, but I'm pretty happy with that. So this bike is great. It does have a steering damper. It has to have one. It's very fast. You're gonna get in trouble with that one. And even in top gear, which is a 6-speed, even though this aftermarket steering gear selector is saying maybe 5 or 6, you're somewhere in the ballpark. It is a 6-speed. Even in top gear, when you just roll on the throttle, not even like full acceleration, it accelerates very fast, incredibly fast. And then, once you get into the good RPM range where it actually has power, it starts pulling even harder. This bike is pushing around 150 horsepower to the wheels. Now, if you do the math formula and see how much horsepower per ton, the power to weight ratios, so how much horsepower per ton, it's around 600 horsepower. I think 650 horsepower per ton. That's American tons. That's 2,000 pounds. Which means that if you were trying to beat something like this, if you were trying to compete with a stock 2008 or 2007 Yamaha R1, you needed to be driving some type of a Corvette that weighs around 3,300 pounds. You need around 1,200 horsepower to the wheels to keep up with this in power to weight ratio. And listen, there's cars out there that can do it, for sure. But they're not this cheap. I mean, a supercharger kit will cost you 6,000 bucks. If this bike costs 6,000 bucks, it's why motorcycles are so appealing to so many people, because you get incredible speed reliably for cheap. And then start throwing a couple bucks, and I mean, normally when it comes down to it, for people just to be able to go fast on a motorcycle is not, let's modify it. It's just the learning curve it takes to learn how to harness the power. I remember reading a magazine article, or not a magazine article, an article online that was talking about these guys that they took professional drag racers. They took 600 bikes, 600cc super sports, and they did like 3 modifications, and they got them down into the sub 10 seconds, 9-second quarter miles. They changed the sprockets, they strapped the front end down, and maybe they put an exhaust on it. And they got them in 9 seconds. There's guys with Hayabusas out there that are running like 10.5, because it's a big, powerful bike, and it's hard to harness that type of power. You know, these most of the time you're gonna be riding this thing, or it's you just learning. That's why, you know, it's funny when I see people modifying their 1000. It's like, wow, you better be the best rider ever, or you just want a louder bike that's more flashy to, you know what I mean? It's like, or you're only using the bike for one thing, and that's just like highway races. And the bikes are so much more than that. These bikes are made to take you into hyperdrive. Alright guys, that wraps it up. This bike is for sale. We will see you later. Remember, it's not what you're riding, but where are you going? Oh, and M1 Moto gloves. If you guys are looking to see what, if you guys looking for a new pair of gloves, check out M1 Moto gloves. They're the baddest gloves out there. M1 Moto gloves. Alright, I will see you guys later.